But here we are on Colston Avenue after a very momentous year here, when sadly Colston's statue was actually illegally taken down by a load of thugs. It's just here in front of me. I'm sorry to say it's gone. These people are trying to destroy history. It doesn't help at all. We need to learn from history perhaps, and also improve ourselves. Look at what we're doing first. Now that tower used to be the Colston Tower. That's now changed its name in the last, what, 6-8 months or so. As you can see, they're trying to obliterate the Colston name around, which is absolutely disgraceful. I mean, he was involved in slave trade many centuries ago. Well, it's got to be over 200 years ago, but of course he did give an awful lot of money to the city and to the university, and this is how they treat him. Now this was paid by public subscription, which is another thing, a emotive subject. There's a lot of statues in the day to respected people. He did make mistakes, like us all, but actually this is totally wrong to take the statue down. They're trying to rename pubs and things around here, and even the local school has decided to change the name. Totally disgraceful here in Bristol. It seems like the city's taken over by a young mob of people who don't have a clue about history. Obviously, you talk about where all the British cars are and things like that, you know, in the industry here, and what we've lost since World War II. You know, perhaps we'd be happy to buy all the European stuff and ponder to all the whims and demands of Europe. And perhaps we should consider our own jobs and wealth and prosperity here, because we're certainly going down the prosperity now. We're probably said to be going to be a third world country by 2050 by some people, some of the university historians looking at the future and everything else. And also they're talking about, I mean, I might be wrong because I'm not saying it's all absolutely, it's not just conjecture of course, but certainly there are people thinking that we are going down and down and down. We're long behind China. We're no threat to them. The Japanese got ahead of us and the Germans many years ago. The Americans always have been, I think. The Germans certainly have been over the last half century. I think it's a disgrace. Got the War Memorial there. And I know when all this was going on in London, there were people protecting the cenotaph. This is all a disgrace. There is now I think it's in the museum. They have recently tried to clean it up and put it on display, but there is now a public consultation whether it should go back where it should go. So it's not good for the city to start vandalising things, but it was sad to say. This is how it is these days with woke brigade, as they call them. You see how good quality this was for the time. It must cost an awful lot of money. Colston Tower behind there. I know my views, after speaking to other people who disagree entirely, will not be representative of some of the 20-year-olds, but of course, as if they were taught about this country more in the Second World War, and what we did and what policies we done for the aid and everything else. I mean, French took away the languages from other countries and things, so they didn't want integration, and they've always been the same with foreign people in France, and they see them problems in America. Why should we be compared? We're not always right, but we are quite welcoming. It's a very small country with an awful lot of problems of our own. Anyway, that's just talking to people, some of the views. I'm not saying they're all my views, but there we are. Beacon Tower, well, it's the old Colston Tower. The very busy Bristol down towards, that goes down to the docks down there, and what Bristol's known for. The War Memorial there we are, remembering those who died for this country.